So, chapter 127 is here, and just when I thought it couldn't get any wilder, Aqua cooked something up. Truly one of the twists of all time. If you know, you know. But yeah, I'll talk about it more once we get there in the review. The chapter basically starts with Miyako explaining that they'll start filming for the 15-year Lie movie, starting next week. Of course, it's gonna be a huge project for the entire Strawberry Productions team. Starting the day after tomorrow, they'll have the entire cast there to do a script reading and costume fitting. Then, they'll actually start shooting the film about a week later. It should finish filming around the 3rd week of August, which kinda confirms it's around summertime, in case anyone was wondering. Plus, they'll have a spare week just in case. Basically, it's seeming like we're gonna get a little behind the scenes when it comes to filming movies. If I remember correctly, we got a glimpse of that when I and Aqua did a film for director Gotanda at the start of the series. Seems like we're gonna go a bit more in depth this time, which I'm all for. Honestly, it's cool to see Oshinoko going back to its roots, showcasing another part of the entertainment world. But back to the chapter. Ruby exclaims that she feels like she'll be able to rest and relax once filming is over. However, Miyako reminds them that Kana's graduation is around the end of August as well, and that they'll use those extra days for practicing. Ichigo chimes in and says that the groups will be having a live tour for Bikomachi near the end of the year, and Kana's graduation is around that time as well. Ruby says she was ready to say bye already, and even Ichigo says he has Kana's approval now too. Kana herself speaks up and basically says that it's a bit tough to ask everyone to make time for her graduation when they're busy with their own schedules. However, she can't really say no if they insist. Ruby just uses that statement to confirm Kana is really easy to work with. Although Mencho says it's cause Kana's just pushed around too easily. Mem ain't holding back. Then a surprise face appears. It's none other than director Gotanda himself, who arrives by saying things never go according to plan. Ruby asks him what's up, and Gotanda says that he brought the final script over. He was nearby, so it wasn't much trouble. Ruby also throws a subtle jab at Ro's financial situation, no mercy from her at all. Then we cut to Memcho looking at the script, in awe of seeing her name on it. Kana attempts to reassure Memcho that she'll be fine. Memcho has basically been acting as a high school student this whole time, so she should be alright. She has some doubts, but then Kana notices that there's some missing spaces in the actors section. Ruby notices as well, but Gotanda clarifies that it's for the child role. They haven't managed to find a suitable child actor yet. After all, it's hard to find anyone like Kana these days. Kana was basically a legendary child actor back then, or at least was very popular, and of course, Kana can't resist bringing it up. It's funny cause Ruby also comments on Kana holding on to her past glory. Gotanda states they will continue to look for child actors, and Ruby encourages them before the scene finally changes to the most important part of the chapter. Aqua leaves the room and seems to go somewhere on his own. Then out of nowhere, there's a voice talking to him as he's walking. It's none other than the Crow Girl commenting on his expression, because for some reason his face screams he has made up his mind to hurt people and get hurt. Aqua brings up the fact how the Crow Girl always seems to be free and able to bother him. The Crow Girl answers by just saying she guides people to the right destiny because she's kind. Aqua says that the way she talks makes her sound like a god. Then this girl goes on about how it depends on how you define a god. Like theoretically, according to her, someone like Aqua who has the memory of his past life can be called a god. I mean, I guess she might be onto something. Aqua and Ruby actually being gods would be pretty crazy. Aqua then asks the Crow Girl about her personal life, like if she has any parents. The Crow Girl just laughs and actually calls her body a vessel that was birthed from a woman, just like anyone else. The way she talks is like she's some entity inhabiting a human body. She also says that she can't call her mother an ordinary parent too, which is interesting. I feel like Aqua also knows something strange, but it's funny because the Crow Girl says he can touch her if he wants to know that she's a regular human. It's starting to get a little serious over here, and Aqua begins to think about something. Bro is plotting something, and what he says next surprises the Crow Girl just as much as it probably surprised any of us reading. Aqua literally asks if she'd want to take the child actor role for the movies. Even she's bamboozled. Like, what is bro cooking? She then starts talking all high and mighty, saying that it's in Aqua's best interest to stop being foolish around her. Who does he think she is? And Aqua actually answers and says he doesn't know. Well, he ain't lying. So then, she drops one of the biggest bombshells yet, and reveals that she's also someone who had the ability to transfer memories of her past life into the body of an infant. Basically confirmed a huge theory so many of us had. She tells Aqua he shouldn't just casually negotiate with a being like her, but Aqua doesn't care and asks if she can act at least. He then goes on to surmise that it seems it's convenient for her if this movie becomes successful, which explains why she's heavily involving herself now. After all, we have gotten more of the Curl Girl ever since this movie arc has started. The Curl Girl does confirm a suspicion, sorta, by saying it's a good guess, but still, it's against logic for her to get involved. So Aqua just tells her, don't get involved anymore, to which the Curl Girl assumes his soul is already falling apart and he can't even make good choices. She says he better understand his position and she can manipulate his soul if she wanted to. I can't tell if she's being serious or not, but it's really starting to sound like she's definitely a special entity. Of course, Aqua still doesn't care and asks again if she can act. The Curl Girl deflects again by saying entertaining people isn't her role in this world. She's here to guide people to the moonlight and determine their destinies. And of course again, Aqua does not care if she's a god and just tells her to say she can't do it, and it's actually pathetic the way she acts. He says she's no different than some old man trying to teach the younger folk while acting all high and mighty. However, she can't do anything when she sits at the same table. Aqua then glares at her with his black starn gun, telling her to just admit she can't do it and to apologize. Now that actually annoys the Curl Girl to the point she tells him not to underestimate her. Then, on the final page, we actually see Ruby and Gotanda stunned as Aqua brings the Curl Girl in to take the role of child actor. Insane. Aqua might have just manipulated a god. Aqua says he got a child actor they might be able to use, and with an annoyed expression, the Curl Girl says he didn't. She came here of her own free will, and that's where the chapter ends. To be honest, I would have never expected to learn more about the Curl Girl this way, but Aqua is a mastermind. I guess Ruby should also recognize her too, so it'll be interesting to see how the interactions go from here. I actually think it's cool that we finally get someone else reincarnated besides Aqua and Ruby, which could lead to an interesting dynamic between all of them. Of course, the big question is, who was the Curl Girl in her past life? I feel like I is most likely out of the question, since the Curl Girl herself did say she can't bring her back. She's most likely a character we don't know yet, who may or may not have a connection with Hikaru. Of course, that's assuming she just isn't some godlike being or a deity like Yatagarasu. But yeah, I love that we're getting more of the Curl Girl now, and the interaction between Aqua and her was so good. It's definitely the most personality we got out of her so far. Aqua and Manga are definitely cooking up something crazy for this movie arc, and going off this chapter, it's gonna be something we're not expecting. But yeah, let me know what y'all thought of the chapter, and who or what you think the Curl Girl might be in the comments. As always though, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. And if you want some more Oshi no Ko content, I got some over here too. Peace.